Alright, this is our last class. In this class, I'm gonna introduce the last step in the 9-step guide. Well, in this step, as you know, is actually the implementation of our first 8 steps of to a usable database. And it is also the last step in this chapter, the physical design of database system. All right. Now, in the last class, we have introduced the conversion rules on how to convert the REA model to tables. And also, in the last class, I introduced the ways on how to ensure that the tables resulting from the conversion rules conform to good database design principles. Now we can proceed to the last step, which involves actually implementing the design in a relational database. Well, as I have introduced earlier in the class, that currently we have a lot of database management system available on market. But in this class, I'm gonna use Microsoft Access as the DBMS. So first of all, let me introduce these 4 specific implementation steps. 6 steps. First, to create tables. Well, step 8 in the event-oriented modeling process results in the delineation of the structures of tables needed in the relational database system. The fields for each table are defined using the attributes identified for each entity in step 4 of the modeling process. Formats of each table must be chosen. For example, in Microsoft Access, it provides some field formats that we can choose from. The number format for integers, text formats for arithmetic data, currency format for monetary data, date and time format for dates. Step 2 is to designate the primary key. In each table, the unique identifier of records in the table must be designated as the primary key. Well, and as I introduced in the previous classes, that one table must have a primary key in order to uniquely identify one record. Well, if the primary key is about one attribute, it's called it's a one attribute primary key. But if the primary key composes 2 attributes, or in other words, 2 attributes working together identifies one unique record, then in this case, it is called composite key. Composite key is used. Step 3, to establish relationships between tables. In Access, all tables must be added to the relationships window. The EER diagram oriented methodologies essentially spells out the relationships that need to be established between tables. Well, this is step 1, step 2, and step 3. These three these three steps involve creating tables and establishing relationships between them. These these steps, step 1, 2, 3, deal with the static or data structure aspects of the logical modeling process. And step 4, step 5, step 6 deal with the process aspects of logical modeling. Or in other words, they have to do with the DFD. I mean data flow diagram. So in a sense, DFD processes map to the forms in a database. Database forms are created, for recording, maintenance, and reporting information process. Well, in addition to the forms, reports using database facilities would also be created for generating custom reports. And finally, queries can be created as needed to generate to ad hoc questions posed by users. Well, and in the previous lecture, I have introduced on how to create some very basic queries in Microsoft Access, and it is also about your last homework. So in this class, I'm gonna omit this part, while I'm gonna focus on the table creating the tables and creating the forms. All right, let's go back and consider the student's registration system used for comprehensive illustration. In previous chapters, we will also use this example to illustrate the concepts in this chapter. And also here, the ER diagram as well as the level 0 DFD recording process DFD result, which is resulted from the application of the first steps in event-oriented modeling approach, is repeated here for your reference. So now let's design the tables or the data repositories by applying the conversion rules to this ER diagram. We will create one table for each entity. So we will create one table for each entity, resulting in these tables. They are course scheduling, registration, course sections, department, and instructors and students table. All optional relationships are treated as mandatory many relationships. For the purpose of conversion, we have these sets of relations. We have one to many between departments and course scheduling. one-to-many between departments and instructors, one-to-many between departments and students, one-to-many between course scheduling and registration, many-to-many relationship between instructor and course scheduling, many-to-many between course sections and course scheduling, many-to-many between course sections and registration. Oh, and a one-to-many between students and registration. For a one-to-many relationship, the conversion rule requires that the primary key of the table on one side of the relationship be posted as the foreign key to the table on the many sides on the relationship. So, following this rule, the primary key of departments will be posted to instructors, students, and course scheduling tables. The primary key of course scheduling should be posted to registrations, and the primary key of students should be posted to registration table. All other relationships are many-to-many, which require the creation of new composite key table to represent each. So we must create new composite key table for the many-to-many relationship between course scheduling and course sections. The many-to-many relationship between course scheduling and instructors, and for many-to-many relationship to between course sections and registration table. So, per the conversion rules, each of these composite key tables will have the primary keys of the entities participating in the many-to-many relationship. The rules result in these tables showing on these slides. And you also have to know that, again, the primary key of each table is underlined, and the foreign key in each table have an asterisk at the end of the field. So, all right, for this slide, I'm gonna leave you here for your reference. Next, I'm gonna show you the database that about this student registration process that has been established. I'm gonna, first of all, I'm gonna show you as an example here. So as you can see, well, I'm gonna show these two apps side by side. Well, on the left side is our slides that shows the resulted tables, departments, instructors, students, conversions, scheduling, all the way to the end, instructor assignments. So per the conversion rules, we have to convert these tables to physical tables in Microsoft Access. For example, we have department table showing here, and then we have instructors table showing here, students table showing here, etc., etc. Well, these are the queries. The queries, well, I believe you have learned how to create queries, and you have the concept of what a query is in the previous lectures. So next, I'm going to show you the forms. Those forms are used for information process modeling, for reporting, maintenance, and recording, maintenance, and reporting information process. Class roosters, for example, you can search for some information that you need. Main roosters, course scheduling, recording forms. You can read the information one by one here. This is for reporting as well as recording. So next, I'm going to show you how to create the new database using Microsoft Access. But for simplicity purpose, I'm gonna show you just several tables and some of the forms. So first of all, let's create a new Microsoft Access database. It's created here. Let's rename it as chapter 9. All right, open. All right, first of all, the first step is to, as I said, is to create tables. Let's see again. Yes, to create tables. While I am creating tables in Microsoft Access, I also have the opportunity to do step 2 to designate the primary key. Let me show you how to do this. Well, I'm gonna create only 2 tables for simplicity: departments table and instructors table. Well, before I create it, let's see what relationship should be between these 2 entities, departments and instructors. Well, it should be 1 to many, because for one department, there could be many instructors working in this department, right? So per the conversion rule, the primary key on one side, or in this case, the primary key on department side should be the foreign key on many sides, or in this case, on the instructors table, there should be a foreign key here. All right, let's see how to create tables, how to designate the primary keys, and how to how to define the relationships between these 2 tables. To create a table, you go to Create tab and click Table Design. Well, here you need to type in the names of each field. For department table, the first field is DEPT as, and this should be, well, short text. Okay, so the first attribute in departments table is defined here. However, the first attributes, I mean DEPT attributes, is also the primary key in this table. So to designate the primary key, we can simply click this field once and click here, the primary key icon. So once I click the primary key icon here, you can see a small key in front of this attribute right here. So now it shows that this field is designated as the primary key in this table. Well, let me continue creating other fields. In addition to DPT, we have name. Next. Well, here it says that the name you supply is a reserved word. Reserved words have a specific meaning in Microsoft Access to Microsoft Access database engine. If you use the reserved word, you may receive an error while referring to this field. But in this case, let's ignore it, and you can simply click OK. In addition to name fields, we have the mail stop, building, room, and hat. All right. These 6 attributes have been defined in the departments table. But now I haven't defined the name of this table. By defining the name of a newly created table, we can simply close it. Before closing it, it asks, do you want to save changes? And you click yes. So here you can rename the table. We rename it as departments table and click OK. So this is how you create a table in Microsoft Access. The next step is to create the second table. We do the similar things. We go to create table design. For the first attribute, it is instructor number. As we know, that this attribute is the primary key field. So we need to designate this field as the primary key by clicking primary key icon here. Next, the name. We simply ignore this by clicking OK. Name, address, 1, address 2, city, state, zip code. Oh no, sorry, I mean The third attribute should be department, DEPT, which is a foreign key. Next should be office, phone, and email. All right. We close this design view and save this table. We rename this table as instructors. And click OK. Well, now these two tables have been created. Departments table and instructors table. So the third step is to define the relationships between these two tables. But before before that, let's first do that. So after that, I'm going to show you the relationship defined in the established database. To define the relationship between these two tables, we go to Database Tools tab. Click Relationships. So here, on the right side, you will see these two defined tables. We double click each of them so that they appear on the left side. All right, in Microsoft Access, relationships between tables are specified by clicking and dragging between the common fields between tables. So, as you can see, the common fields should be the department. The department is the primary key in departments table, and it is the foreign key in instructors table. Well, I simply click department fields in DEPT fields in departments table, drag it to DEPT field in instructors table, drag and release. Once you release, you see this window. Well, the primary key fields in departments table is related to the departments fields in instructors table. Well, before I click create, let's enforce referential integrity. And click create. Now, this relationship has been created between these two attributes. Between these two tables. And the system automatically recognizes that departments, it is one side. So you can see this one icon here. And on instructor side, it is the many side. So you can see this unlimited sign here, showing it is the many relationship in this case. So now I have defined the relationship between these two tables. So as I promised, I'm gonna show you the relationships in the designated table. All right, here it is. I mean this established database. To show the relationships, same thing. You could do database tools, click relationships. Well, here it is. So here you can see the defined relationships between different tables. For the composite case, you do the same thing. You drag offering, for example, here, course section registration table. This table is the table that contains the composite key. So to define the composite key table, same thing. You drag offering number in course offering table to offering number field in course section registration table and release. And then you drag registration number to registration number fields in course section registration table and release. So now you can see two lines connecting this table and these two tables. All right, this is how to create tables. Next, I'm going to show you how to create and use a very simple form in order to record information. Now, if I, okay, let's save this change. Now, if you open one of these two tables, you will see nothing. No records in departments table, neither no records in instructors table. Well, I can definitely type in the new records right here, but I would like to use a more user-friendly interface to type in this information, and also this interface can be used for maintenance purpose. In addition to maintenance, it can also used for reporting purpose. Reporting, maintenance, and recording. So, I'm gonna create a form. To create form, similarly, we click Create tab. Under this tab, you can see the form design. Oh no, sorry. The form. You simply click Form. Now, this form is automatically created, and all these elements have been aligned automatically for you. Here, you can see the department ID, the name of the department, the mail stop, building, room, and head. And here, this section is called a subtable. Why this subtable, or called a subform? Why this area appears automatically here? Well, first of all, let's see the contents in this subform. It is instructor number, name, office, phone, and email. Well, these attributes are the attributes extracted from instructors table. This subform automatically appears here because we have defined the relationship between departments and instructors. It means in one department there could be none or many instructors. So the instructor's information is shown here in this area, in this subform area. So before we go to the design, the form view, we need to save this form. We close it and save changes. We save this form as department instructors. Click OK. All right, now you can see this form right here. Well, let me maximize this window. Well, I just created a new form named as department instructors. Now I can open this form. You can see it like this. Because currently I haven't typed in any new records here. Now let's try to create some new records. For example, I'm going to create a department. Accounting department. The primary key, let's assume, is ACCT. Accounting department. Mail stop, number 1, building, RBS, room, let's see, for example, 901, head, the head person, the Tom. Okay, now accounting departments is created as a record in departments table. In addition to creating a new department, let's create the records for 2 instructors. For the first instructor, let me create a fictitious record. First instructor Jim, instructor number is 1001. Name Jim. Office 902. Phone number 111-222-3333. Email is jim@rutgers.edu. For the second instruction, it has the instruction number 1002. Name is like Mary. Office number 903. Phone number 111-222-4444. Email should be mary@rutgers.edu. Okay, now we have created a new department, that is accounting department, and we created information for 2 instructors, Jim and Mary. So let's go back to these 2 tables to take a look. You can see the newly created department is shown on the departments table, accounting department. And let's open instructors table. Well, as you can see, these newly created 2 instructors records are displayed here in instructors table. But one thing I need to point out is that in department's instructors forms, in this task subtable, we have instructor number, instructor name, office, phone number, and email. But let's go back to instructors table. In addition to these 5 attributes, we have department attributes as a foreign key, not listed here. See, there's no DEPT attributes. This foreign key listed in this subtable. Why is that? That's simply because we have predefined the relationship between instructors table and departments table. So in this department, we simply have to type in the department name. Instead, we don't have to type in the department name again in the instructor information subtable. So let me show you another example to illustrate this point. Now let's create a new department record. To create a new department record, we click here. We go to next record. Record 2. Oh, it could be a new record. Let's see. Well, let's assume this time I'm gonna create a new department. Finance department. The short name is FIN. Mail stop number 2. Building RBS room 801. Head let's make up a name. For example, Bob. All right. Let's create one instructor in this department. For instructor number, it could be 2001. 2001. Name Susan. Office 802 and phone number 777-888-9999. Email Susan@rutgers.edu. Well, this new department and a new instructor under working in this department have been created. Now let's look at the tables. Let me refresh. After refreshing, you can see this new record, finance department, is created. And under finance department, we have one newly created instructors. She's Susan. So let's go to instructor table and refresh. I'm gonna refresh by clicking this icon. All right, there we go. Same thing. Susan, an instructor in finance department. This record has been created. Same thing. I didn't define the department, which department where Susan works in this subform. It's in the table. The foreign key, DPT, has been automatically added to these records, Susan records. And as I said, the reason is because I have predefined the relationship between instructors, department, and instructors table. For simplicity, you can also view the data by clicking this plus icon in departments record. You click plus, you can see two records under accounting department and one record under finance department. Well, that's how you create tables and forms in Microsoft Access. So, alright guys, this is the end of this class. In this class, I demonstrate how to create tables and forms in Microsoft Access, as well as the use of conversion rules from logical design table to physical design tables. This is the end of this class and the end of this class. The end of this course as well. I really hope that you learned something useful from this course. It could be something useful for now. And I hope that things that you learned in this class will be something useful in your future career. And also, I always have the lifetime instructor policy for my students enrolled in my class. In the future, I won't be the instructor for you, but if you have any questions while you're working or you pursue your future degrees, any questions, you can come to me and ask me. I'm gonna do best of that I can to help you. All right, I will see you in the near future. All right, guys.
Professor, I have a question.
Good luck.
Professor,
Yes.
I have a quick question.
Oh, okay.
For the final right?
Mm.
The term paper. Can we start it early?
Oh yeah, sure. Of course you can.
We could start it for starting today.
Yeah, as long as it's before the due date.
Okay, then I'll start it up right now. Thank you. That was the only question.
All right. Thank you.
Have a great one, Professor. Thank you for teaching everything.
All right. Thanks for your attendance. Bye
Have a
bye.
great one. Have a great one, Professor.
You too. Bye bye.